if you watch this video, then you stand in front of the question, which VR headset should you buy? So as you can see, there's a lot of VR headsets like the standalone headsets, the console headsets, or the PCVR headsets. A lot of stuff. But which one is for you and why? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of the headsets? I will answer these questions in this video. My name is Thomas and you're watching VoodooDE VR. Thank you to my sponsors Oculus VR, Open Events and Virtual Escape. Let's have some fun with the video and let's go!
VoodooDE.
Okay, I want to split the video in different categories. You can find them in the description or via timestamps. You can jump to the different categories because there's a lot of stuff. And to all headsets you can see here that are already available on the market, I will have a review ready for you that you can also find in the description below. So this is just a overlook of all the headsets in this video, but the reviews you will also find on my channel. Also, you can find all the links for the headsets in the description below. So, but yeah, let's go on. Okay, the first category is very fast because it's not really important and you should not buy it. This is cardboards or smartphone holders. I don't call that VR because it's not VR. For example, this is a cardboard. You just open that and put your smartphone here, and just don't buy it. The next one as well, this is from me. Can put the smartphone here. This is Google Daydream. You can put the smartphone like here. So, what's the advantage of that? The price, because sometimes this is even for free and it doesn't cost you anything when you have a smartphone. But the disadvantage is it's not VR. It's no tracking. The only thing you can do is on place, like 3 degrees of freedom, nothing else. The headset doesn't know if it's here or here. So you will not be able to play really VR games. It's only some casual experiences and so on. So who should buy it? Better nobody, but it could be okay if you want to watch 3D movies that you recorded with a 3D camera, then you can just watch it a little bit, that's okay. But please don't ever expect that this is real virtual reality. I can guarantee you it's not, okay? So it's not even for beginners. Even beginners should not buy this to experience VR or play something in VR. That's very important. So the next category is console VR. So that means, the most important thing is of course Sony, but there's also, for example, Nintendo Labo with some small games, but that's not really VR. It's just casual stuff. We don't really need that, to be honest. But Sony has 2 headsets, the PlayStation VR1 and the PlayStation VR2. So the PlayStation VR1 is pretty old. It's an old VR headset. It's compatible to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. The advantage is it's pretty cheap because you can get it used very, very cheap. It has some very good games. It has room tracking at least 180 degrees. So everything you see in front of you is tracked via the PlayStation camera. Also the controllers are tracked. The dual shock controller is also tracked. And but it's only 180 degrees tracking. But if you look behind you, then the PlayStation says, oh, there is no tracking anymore. Other disadvantages is, of course, that's pretty old. It has an old resolution, of course. Also, the setup is pretty complicated. We need a lot of cables. We need an additional box, additional power plug and all that stuff. And additional camera. And the tracking compared to other VR headsets is really bad, to be honest. So sometimes this thing is not really tracked. If some lights are in your room or so, then the tracking is not so good. So who should buy the PlayStation VR1? Of course, people that want to play seated. It's a cool couch experience when you play with a DualShock controller or something. Or people that only have a PlayStation 4. That's very interesting then, because it's just only when you buy it new, including the camera. It's around $350 US. Used headsets are much cheaper, of course. Yeah, then you can buy the PlayStation VR1. Oh, you see, it's just getting old here. It's just didn't expect that. It's so old already. Then the next one is the PlayStation VR2. That's a very new headset. It's much, much better than the PlayStation VR1 because it has full tracking, 360 degrees tracking. The display is much better, much higher resolution, really good games, good looking games, full room tracking. The controllers are one of the best controllers in VR. We have adaptive triggers and so on. Really interesting feeling for the controllers. The setup is much easier. We just have to plug the USB-C cable into the PlayStation 5 and then it works. Really awesome. Very easy for beginners. Then just print your room and then you can go. Disadvantage. Sony decided to build old Fresnel lenses, and that means you have some God ray effects, and that's pretty bad. Also, the OLED display has some Mura effect, so some blacks when you move your headset are a little bit washed out and so on. It still has a cable, yeah. And for me, to be honest, I mean, the PlayStation VR2 has some really good games. The library is pretty good, but there is not so much new content coming, to be honest. Yeah, so I miss new content. Perhaps in the future there will be some more games, but for now it's not so many stuff that I expected. So who should buy the PlayStation VR2? Of course, people that have a PlayStation 5 and want graphically good VR games that look really good. Over the performance of the PlayStation 5, it's of course much better than the old PlayStation 4 or so. And yeah, that's a good thing for those people. So the price is around $550 US for the normal bundle and a little bit more for the Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle. And of course you need the PlayStation 5. Yeah. So people that have a PlayStation 4 and not so much money, go for the old PlayStation VR. People that have the PlayStation 5 go for the new PlayStation VR2. That's the category console VR. Okay, the next category is video glasses. Yes, this is not VR really, it's just to watch videos. And yeah, I tested some of them. For example, the Unreal Light. It has also some augmented reality functions and the Rocket Max. So, and I recommend the Rocket Max plus the Rocket Max Station. Yeah, because the advantage is it's very, very light. It's a very good display. It's very comfortable and you can use it while lying in bed, for example. Yeah, that works. So in front of you there is a really big high-res monitor appearing, and there you can watch high-res and 3D movies. But there is no tracking, so the headset doesn't know where it is, or the glasses. Yeah, and it's pretty expensive compared to other standalone headsets, for example. Who should buy it? Not people that want VR, but people that want to experience movies, for example, while traveling or so, because you can you can stream it, but you can also copy files locally to the Rocket Station. It's connected via cable to the glasses, yeah, and then you can watch movies in a really good resolution. The price is around $500 US for the set of the station and the glasses. Yeah, so it's very good for watching movies. And let's go to the next category, a very huge category, PCVR headsets. So it's so huge that I have to do some separate categories. So let's start with PCVR Windows Mixed Reality. So those are Windows Mixed Reality headsets. For example, that's the Reverb G2. That's the Reverb, the first HP Reverb. That's the HP VR1000, Lenovo Explorer and Samsung Odyssey Plus. I will focus on the HP Reverb G2 because all the others are not on the market anymore. Sometimes you can get them used or so. If you get the Samsung Odyssey Plus for under 200 bucks, then it's fine. It's a good headset to start VR with. You can play all VR games with these headsets, but I don't recommend those two. Perhaps if you get them under 100 bucks, the VR1000 or the Lenovo Explorer, but I will focus on the HP Reverb G2. That's a headset that you can still order. The advantage is that you don't need any base stations. It just scans the environment via inside-out tracking, and then you don't need any base stations or something. The setup is pretty easy. Just connect it via PC, yeah, and then you're good to go. You need a PC, of course. In Windows, you need a mixed reality portal, for example, then you can open Steam VR and so on. The display of the Reverb G2 is pretty good. Yeah, it also has a good sound with these earphones. And it is not so expensive like the really high-end VR headsets like Pimax and so on. So the disadvantage is the controllers. So they have these controllers, and when you turn them on, they have this lights here, this small LED lights, and the cameras will track the movement. But the tracking is really not so good. Yeah, it has some disadvantages when you hold it in front of each other. The other headsets, not mixed reality headsets, tracking is much better. So that's a problem. And also the system, Windows Mixed Reality, is by Microsoft, and not many people buy that anymore. So there's not such a huge community of the Windows Mixed Reality headsets, to be honest. But who should buy it? The HP Reverb G2 is really good for seated VR, for people that want to play racing and flight simulators and don't want to spend over 1,500 euros for a PCVR headset. So as I said, the display is pretty good. You can see everything really clear when you sit in the cockpit of a flight simulator or so, and that's pretty good. But for our other VR experiences, because of the pretty bad tracking, I don't recommend the HP Reverb G2. It's better than at the beginning, but still I would recommend Lighthouse tracking. So the price for the HP Reverb G2 is around 500 to 600 bucks, including the controllers. Yeah, and of course you need a gaming PC. So as I said, all those older Windows Mixed Reality headsets, if you get them very cheap used, then you could start VR with that. But I would prefer the HP Reverb G2 if you want to go for a Windows Mixed Reality headset. That's my opinion. The next category is the older headsets by Oculus, or now Meta. So the first one of them was the Oculus Rift CV1, this headset here. It's really old, it has an old resolution. You also need this tracking stations that you have to connect to the PC. That's really bad. You should have 3 of them to have good tracking. Then we have these old controllers. They are pretty good. They have this ring underneath, but the resolution is pretty old, and sometimes you have some tracking problems and so on. These 2 headsets are not on the market anymore. You can only get them used. So if you can get the Oculus Rift CV1 used for under 100 bucks, it's okay, because you can play all PCVR games with that. Then this is the little bit newer version. That's the so-called Oculus Rift S. It's also not on the market anymore. But it has inside-out tracking. That means you don't need some base stations. You can just use the headset and it's tracked everywhere. And yeah, that's much better. The controllers look a little bit different because it has the ring above, connected to PC, and then you can also play all VR games with the Oculus Rift S. The disadvantage is that it's not really supported anymore. There will not be any updates or so. The resolution, even from the older one, is really low. This one is also not the best resolution anymore. But who should buy it? Of course, people that don't have much money, that can want to get into VR pretty cheap. Then you can go for it. The Rift S is around 150 bucks to 200 bucks used. Yeah, so then you can go for it. But if you have more money, then better go for a newer headset, in my opinion. So the next category are the HTC Vive headsets. So here we have the first HTC Vive. Then here we have the Vive Pro, the Vive Pro 2, and the Vive Cosmos Elite. So all of them have one thing, it's very expensive. It's too expensive for that what you get. But there may be some people where they should buy it. So the advantage of all of them is they have lighthouse tracking. That means you need the base stations. You need 2 base stations in every corner of your room in 2 meters height. One of these stations, they only have to be connected to power plug, not to PC. And then you can use the awesome lighthouse tracking. That's the best tracking, and you can then use, for example, the best controllers, the index controllers. You can use them with all of these headsets. That's very good. They are very precise, they have hand tracking, and they are comfortable. So the Vive 1 is not available anymore. The Vive Pro is around 500 bucks. The Vive Pro 2 is the best one, 850 bucks, and the Cosmos Elite is around 500 bucks. And all of the prices without the base stations and without the controllers. Very important. So the advantage of these headsets is that they have very good tracking. They are all very comfortable. They are modular, so you can buy wireless modules for them, wireless PCVR. You have the option for some accessories like the Vive tracker for full body tracking, and some of them, for example, the HTC Vive Pro Eye, they have eye tracking optional. All of them have good quality, good material quality, and they don't need any social media account like Meta or TikTok or something like that. The disadvantage is the mobility. You cannot just move them anywhere because you need these base stations installed and cables and all that stuff. And also the disadvantage is the price. As I said, it's too expensive, and the lenses are also not so good. They have the Fresnel lenses, they had God ray effects and so on, and all of them have bad microphones, unfortunately. But who should buy the HTC Vive headsets? People that want, for example, wireless PCVR. I mean real PCVR wireless, not the compressed stuff. So that's really interesting. Also for people that want a perfect tracking, the lighthouse tracking. And what I heard from some people that run a VR arcade, they have a good license management. So if you have an arcade, then you can use them. It's pretty good to manage all that stuff. Or for people that just don't want to give any data to the social media like Meta or TikTok, ByteDance or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, the best of them is the HTC Vive Pro 2. It has the highest resolution, yeah, and that's the best headset from. Sorry, this one. they look all. This is the HTC Vive Pro 2. Yeah, they look all the same from behind. So yeah, that's the, and this one, the Vive Cosmos Elite, also has optional inside-out tracking with the cameras. That also works. Yeah, but I would prefer the HTC Vive Pro 2. They are all very comfortable. Yeah, but as I said, the prices that I mentioned are without the controllers and without the base stations. That are minimum additional 500 bucks. So with all of the headsets, you are at minimum 1,000 bucks. And that's, in my opinion, too much when you compare to other headsets that have better lenses, same resolution, yeah, or more comfort or so. It's a problem. And also all headsets have better microphones than the HTC Vive headset. So yeah, that's something you should consider when you buy an HTC Vive headset. The next category is Valve Index. So yeah, Valve, you know that from Steam, they made a own VR headset, and that's the Valve Index. I really love it. It's still a nice headset, and I think it was by far from the period the longest best VR headset. Of course, it's a little bit old now. It has some advantages, of course. We have the lighthouse tracking. That means we also need the base stations, and we have perfect tracking. In the package are also the index controllers. In my opinion, still the best VR controllers. Then we have optional modulars, for example, the Vive trackers, where you can put it on your knees or so for full body tracking. That's also possible. Then the Valve Index has a really huge field of view. bigger than most other headsets, and that's really nice. The sound is really good. The microphone is also really good. Disadvantage is the lenses. They have some pretty bad Fresnel lenses. That means you have some God ray effects and so on. That's not so good. And the resolution is not the biggest anymore. It's not the highest anymore. So you see the screen door effect a little bit. For the most newest VR headsets, you don't see any screen door effect anymore. With the Valve Index, you see it a little bit. And it's a little bit too expensive for that high resolution. And Valve still doesn't give a discount on that. So who should buy that headset? For me, as a YouTuber, I totally love this headset because you can always rely on it. It always works. I had never any problems because you don't need any additional software. Just connect it, start Steam VR, and it always works, at least for me. You can always rely on that. And for me, when you want to play multiplayer, the microphone is perfect. The sound is also good. It's still a very good all-round headset. So if you can get along with a pretty lower resolution, then it's still a really nice headset. The complete set, including the headset, the controllers, and the base stations, is $999 US. So I would definitely prefer the Valve Index over every HTC headset. That's my opinion. Still, even though it's so old and perhaps the HTC Vive Pro 2 has a better resolution, but I would definitely still prefer the Index because of the big field of view, for example. So that's the Valve Index. The next category is the future. The Bigscreen Beyond. Look at this. This is so small and light. When I put it on my head, look at this. It's nothing. And it also feels like nothing, like you don't even have something in your head. It's very, very light. And it has a really good display, really nice. And it's very individual for your headset, for your head, because you send them a 3D scan and they will print the facial interface for your face. And it fits perfectly then. And that's really very interesting. The disadvantage, of course, is then that you cannot give it to other people because it fits only on your face. It will work, but it's not so comfortable then anymore. And it's pretty expensive. And you don't have any audio included. So you need your own headphones or wait for the deluxe audio strap that it's around $150 or so. So the price of the Bigscreen Beyond is 1,370 euro. It's very expensive, of course, and there is not even the base stations that you need and the controllers included. That are additional minimum $500. So we will be at around 1,900 euro or so. Very expensive, but who should buy it? Of course, people that want to experience the future. It's by far the lightest and smallest headset on the market right now. And really, really very interesting. And you can play all Steam VR games with that, with the good lighthouse tracking with the base stations and the Index controllers. So that's the Bigscreen Beyond. Hey, do you still see me? Look at all those headsets. They look all the same, but they are the Pimax headsets and they are one of my favorites. So there are a lot of headsets over the last years, but the most important now on the market is the Pimax Crystal, this one, and the Pimax 8KX. So the Crystal has the best display, one of the best displays on the market with a pretty good field of view, and the Pimax 8KX has it's still a good display. It's not so good than the Crystal, but the 8KX has a really huge field of view, one of the biggest on the market. So what's the advantage? So as I said, the advantage of the Pimax headsets, definitely the display. The Crystal, it's just really amazing. It's a really good display. The Pimax headsets are also very modular. So you can, for example, for the Crystal, you can use the Crystal out of the package with the included controllers. Yeah, but you can also switch to Lighthouse module and then use the base stations and the index controllers. Yeah, that works. Yeah, very modular. There's also a eye tracking module, hand tracking module, and all that stuff. Later there will even be a wireless module, yeah, for the headsets. Really nice. The disadvantage is Pimax is a little, I call it the chaos company. So you always feel like you are a little bit of a beta tester, because sometimes the stuff doesn't work, the software has errors, the headset doesn't switch on, then you have to reboot and install again. So yeah, it's for people that really want to try the newest stuff, but you have to make sure that you are something like a beta tester. Yeah? And of course you need a high-end PC for those headsets, because they have a very high resolution. Yeah. So guys, if you want to have one of the best headsets, but you are okay with some additional settings and a little bit try and error stuff, then the Pimax headsets are really good. When they work, when you have managed to get everything working, then they are really, really good. The Crystal is one of my favorite headsets. The price for the Pimax Crystal, this one here, is 1,900 euro. And you can use it out of the box with the controllers, or as I said, you can buy for 500 bucks. Then you are 2,400 bucks. Then you have the complete package, including Lighthouse tracking. The Pimax 8KX with a huge display is around 1,470 euro, but there you will definitely need the additional controllers, the index controllers or the base station. Yeah, you will definitely need it. So the 8KX, including the package, is around 2,000 bucks. But I really love them, as I said. Pimax headsets, really good. And some headsets that I only had as a loaner unit, I had to send them back. For example, the XTAL 3 from the VR Genius. This is one of the headset. It has the highest resolution ever. It has extreme high resolution and mixed reality. And you can see every detail. It's just for flight simulators, perfect. Yeah, the weight is extreme heavy, but it's sometimes you have to include it in the helmet, yeah, for fighter pilots and so on. And yeah, it's very heavy, and the price is extreme as well. So who should use that? Of course, it's sold to the military to do some military training, also for pilot training, or for people that just have a lot of money and want to have their perfect flight simulator, because the price is 9,200 US dollars plus tax. So you're around like 10,000 bucks. Yeah, but it's really, the resolution is extreme. You need a very powerful PC for that as well. But it's yeah, it's good, but most people cannot afford that, of course. Then the next one that I had to send back is the Varjo Aero. There are other headsets by Varjo, for example the VR3 or XR3, but they are for business. It's not so easy to order them, but the Varjo Aero can just be ordered by normal customers. And the headset has the advantage that it's a very good high-end headset. Yeah, the price was even reduced recently, so that's even better now. It's a very good display, so for simulation fans and racing simulator fans, a really nice thing. The disadvantage, at least for me, is that it has a really small field of view. That I definitely noticed that it's too small, and for me it's a huge problem. That's why I would definitely prefer the Pimax Crystal, even though it's more expensive, because the Varjo Aero is only 1,200 euro for now, and that's really okay. Of course you need the base stations and the controllers, 500 bucks additional. If you want to play everything. If you only want to play simulations, then you only need the base stations. You don't need the controllers then. But yeah, if you want to go for it and if you don't care about the field of view, that's a really good display, really good headset, the Varjo Aero. And a headset that will be released in 2023 is the Somnium VR1. That sounds very interesting because we have a very high resolution with an LC display with local dimming. That means we have the advantage of an LC display, but the local dimming means that you can reduce the background light of different areas to have better black levels and so on. That's really nice. And the Somnium VR1 will have a very huge field of view, even bigger than the Index. Yeah, and it will have mixed reality, eye tracking, hand tracking, and even later a wireless module. So that sounds really good. It could be a very good PC headset. It will be PCVR only. There's no standalone mode or something. We also have no idea about the price yet, but Somnium says it will be not ultra expensive. So yeah, perhaps like 800 to 1,200 or something like that. I don't know. So make sure to check out the description because there I will put the review as soon as I have it. So check it out. It will be a very interesting headset, the Somnium VR1. Okay guys, let's talk about standalone headsets. This is very trendy. Everybody is interested about standalone headsets. And there's a lot of stuff that you can have. The Quest 1, Quest 2, Quest 3, Quest Pro, Quest whatever. No, then we have the Pico Neo 3 Link, the Pico 4, the Oculus Go, Lenovo Mirage Solo, Vive Focus, Vive Flow, Pimax Portal, and later the Apple Vision Pro as well. And yeah, I want to show you 4 of them. The first one is the Oculus Go, but this is not supported anymore. It's very old. It only has this laser pointer tracker. There's no 6 degrees of freedom tracking. So I think you should not buy that anymore. Just like for the first category, only for watching movies. So let's put that a little bit to the side. Yeah. So these are the headsets we should talk about. This is the Pico 4, this is the Quest 2, and this is the Quest 3. Quest 1 I would not buy anymore, not supported. When we talk about standalone, that means we don't need a PC, we don't need a console. It's very mobile. It's wireless, of course. It's pretty cheap compared to other PCVR headsets. The setup is very, very easy for all of them. Just connect with your smartphone account and then print a room scale area, and then it works. And you can also optional use PCVR with all of the 3 headsets. That's really awesome. And some of them even have good mixed reality like the Meta Quest 3. Yeah. So a disadvantage of these headsets, I don't think there's so many disadvantages. The only thing I would say, when you don't use PCVR, when you use the standalone mode, everything is being processed inside the headsets. Yeah, that means you don't have the power of a PC, of course, because there's only a Snapdragon processor included, and that means some games will not look as good as some high-quality PCVR games. Yeah, but however, in this case, the Quest 3 has the newest Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 processor. This is faster than the other 2. Another disadvantage could be that you cannot use so many accessories. Like for example, when you have a Lighthouse PC, you have the base stations, and then you can use like tracked weapons or a tracker on your feet. That doesn't work with the other headsets. Later the Quest 3 will have full body tracking with the cameras. At least they will try that. So perhaps this is something interesting. So for beginners, I would say buy the Quest 2 because it's pretty cheap. You can get it for $300. Yeah, you can play all standalone games and all PCVR games with that. And that's cool. Now you can connect all of them wireless to PC or via a cable. Yeah, so this is good for beginners. Resolution is not so high like the other 2, but it's a good headset, and I still love it. So if you want to spend a little bit more, you will go for the Pico 4. This is around 400 euro. Yeah, and this has a higher resolution and better lenses, and yeah, it's more comfortable because it's lighter, and yeah, it has a good all-round package here. Definitely, it's $400. But if you want to have the newest one, that's the Meta Quest 3 here. So this is like $500. And then you have the fastest processor, a pretty good resolution, and also nice lenses. And yeah, what I really love, that you have these sensors here at the front, and that means you can do very good mixed reality content as well, because it has a depth sensor, and that's really nice. Yeah? So compare the Pico 4 can also do mixed reality, but the Quest 3 can do it much better. So if you want to be prepared for the future, for example, I would go for the Quest 3. However, it's more expensive than the other two. You have to keep that in mind. But if you only want to do PCVR, nothing else, then the Pico 4 is also good. Yeah? But with the Quest 3, you can also do that. For the Quest 3, I would advise that you buy the Elite Audio strap. This is for the Quest 2, the Elite Audio strap. This is also available for the Meta Quest 3. I would prefer that over the standard strap. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, for the Pico 4, you get these controllers. Yeah, for the Meta Quest 2, you get these controllers. And for the Meta Quest 3, you get these controllers. Yeah. So in my opinion, they are most comfortable, at least for me, the Meta Quest 3 controllers. And yeah, so guys, all of them are really good. And for beginners, it's perfect, but also for people that want to play PCVR games and even simulators, I would prefer then the Meta Quest 3 and the Pico 4. This one's a little bit better, to be honest. For simulations, looks really good. And yeah, so that was the category standalone headsets. Okay, let's come to my favorite headsets. These four guys. So first the Pico 4. I really love the standalone headset. It's really nice. And you can definitely play all the games with that, standalone, pretty good display. You can also play PCVR pretty good with this headset. It's comfortable, really nice and not so expensive. Then, of course, the Quest 3. I also love this. It's the newest one. It has a nice processor, good lenses and all that stuff. And I also love the controllers. They are, for me at least, very comfortable. And of course, the new mixed reality. Yeah, really nice. But I also love the Bigscreen Beyond as PCVR headset. Look at this, it's so small. This is the future, I would say. You don't even feel it when you have it on your head. Awesome. And also nice display, good tracking and so on. And the Pimax Crystal, one of my favorite PCVR headsets. It has very good display and lenses, huge field of view, and yeah, it's a nice headset. I love to play high-end games with this, like simulators or so on. I can definitely recommend it. So these are my four favorite headsets. If you have any questions about any of the headsets, write in the comments below and make sure to watch the full review of every headset. I will put the full review in the description of every headset as long as it's already on the market, of course. And yeah, that's there you can check out everything. Also, you can buy all of the headsets with the links in the description below. Sometimes there's even a coupon code, for example, for the Pimax Crystal. And yeah, as I said, if you have any questions, write it in the comments below. I hope you liked the video. If yes, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time in virtual reality. See ya!
VoodooDE